Hey guys, it's Real Low Bermuda here, bringing you another lawn care video. In today's video, we're going to focus on should you overseed your lawn, and I'm also going to share some lawn care tips for beginners as well as lawn care tips for the seasoned veterans about how to take your lawn to the next level. Let's roll that intro. So I constantly get the question, should I overseed my lawn? Well, today we're going to talk about the Bermuda lawn, and should you overseed your Bermuda lawn? And usually what that means is you're going to throw down Bermuda seed on top of your existing Bermuda lawn with the goal of either trying to thicken it up or maybe even improve the turf with an improved variety of seed. Well, if you take a look at my lawn, you're able to see that I have different types of Bermuda, and this is unintentional. When the builder put my sod in, it was supposed to all be TIF 419, which is a hybrid Bermuda, and they ended up putting some of these sod squares that were actually common Bermuda. And so if you look across here, you see mostly green, mostly one shade of green, but then you see this grayish green and these real thick stalks and blades. Well, that's common Bermuda. And the problem with having those two varieties in my yard is that they grow at different rates. And so the common Bermuda has a real thick stalk and it's a quick growing blade, and it also puts up seed heads, which just looks terrible in about a month or two. And then, so to try to fix this problem, I actually decided to overseed my lawn. And so I bought a really expensive improved variety of Bermuda grass, and I tried to lay it down and overseed in hopes that it would take over and just give me one nice color. Well, now what I have is I have three different colors of Bermuda, three different varieties of Bermuda grass, and although it looks okay from a distance, they grow at different rates and they put out seed heads at different rates, and it's just very problematic. And it's something that I just don't recommend that you do, because even if you're trying to match your current grass with an exact seed, you're going to struggle for that to match. We're going to talk a lot more about that later in the video, but just a few more shots here, you can kind of see the patchy spots that I have. And again, from the road, from the distance, people drive by and they're like, man, your lawn is perfect. And as you can see up close, you can really see the problems that I'm experiencing. And so towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you what I do to try to rectify these problems. And I've actually made some great progress. So stay tuned to the end to kind of get some of those tips and tricks. Let me point out again these different colors. If you see the light green, the lime green there, that's the seed that I put down last year. And it's only in some places, mainly because some of it got washed away. And that's another problem with laying down seed, is that you have to really have perfect conditions for that to germinate. And so it's just a lot easier to put down sod. Even if you had a bare patch, we'll talk about how to handle a bare patch. Like if you just had one brown patch that died for whatever reason. We'll talk about that later in the video of should you throw down some seed on that patch as well. All right, so now what we're going to do is just take a look at some of my current edging, and then I'm going to take you guys along with me for today's mow. So I hope you enjoy that, and then like I said, stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed the mow. I'm down now to a height of cut of 6/10 of an inch, and you can tell that everything blends just a little bit better, and you can still see the variation, but it's just not quite as noticeable. As we do get in close, you can still see that I have 3 shades of green. That's the light green there that I threw down seed. That's the common Bermuda, and then the rest of the lawn is the TIF 419. But I want to leave you with some lawn tips for beginners and lawn tips for veterans to take your lawn to the next level. And sometimes that means getting out in the lawn and actually just getting down there with a pair of scissors and fixing anything that maybe the mower didn't pick up. In this case, the common Bermuda has a lot of runners that will branch out and try to take over the entire yard, and I don't like the common Bermuda, and so it's just a few patches that I'm trying to get rid of, and this has actually been pretty successful over the past year. This is one of the most problematic parts of my yard. But you can kind of just see I'm just clipping any of these runners that are kind of branching out and that have those thick stalks that just look awful. And this will also help the common Bermuda to kind of creep in and slowly overtake it. And I've had some success in some of these spots over time with this method. The other thing that I'll do sometimes is just take a rake and actually rake these up and then remow or take a string trimmer. But here you can see again, since I'm using a real mower, it's not actually sucking up all these pieces, and so sometimes runners will just get laid over instead of cut. And you could leave those, but again, if you want to take your lawn to the next level, you get in there and you do this nitty-gritty stuff. Get rid of all these little imperfections, and it makes it just look like a nice carpeted, flawless lawn. The thing you can do when you're out and about is just look for little weeds, and if you notice I've got some nutsedge popping up in some places. I'll spray these later once the Bermuda is really taken off, but in the meantime, if you can try to pick them, but if you notice that you don't get a root always, and so when you pull those, if you don't pick the whole root out, again, missed it. We'll see if we can get one up, but ultimately not really doing any good here. There you go. So that's the nut, and if you can get that nut out, eventually you'll kind of get these things under control. But ultimately, when you spray these with with a sledgehammer, that poison goes down into the nut and just causes it to rot. But that's just another part of kind of getting out in the yard, and you spot little weeds here and there, and you can just pull those when they're little bitty, and then they never become problematic. Get the whole root and everything. So as you can see, again, this is a little patch of common Bermuda that the builders put in initially, and really it used to be about double this size, and what I kind of do is just kind of keep it pulled back, make sure these runners really don't take hold, and so I pull those up and kind of just keep this cut back, and eventually the TIF 419, the hybrid, kind of just keeps working its way in. So you can kind of see right here that this hybrid is working all the way into the common, but this common is so thick that it's just really hard to beat, and so you got to make sure that you're not allowing this common to branch out and start spreading, because in my experience the common will win, and so you want to just keep all these runners under control. And then in about a month, this common Bermuda is going to start shooting up big seed heads, really white stalky seed heads, whereas the hybrid won't do that, and so this patch will turn almost white and it'll grow every day at like a rate twice what the hybrid will. So even though it sort of blends in now, late May and June, it's not going to blend in at all. And so that's why again, going back to trying to seed a lawn or overseed a lawn, what you're going to end up having is just these patchy spots that don't really blend in, and it's just going to be a nightmare. And so again, there's no right way or wrong way to do things, but in my opinion, you want to make sure that you don't ever throw down Bermuda seed on top of a Bermuda lawn. If you do have a patch that is just bare, and you're like, man, I want that patch to fill in, just fertilize it, water it, and the Bermuda around it is going to fill that in, and that way you have one variety instead of having multiple varieties. Because even if you tried to match the exact seed, it's still, the odds of it matching exactly are pretty slim. And so just let Bermuda's aggressive, it's powerful, let it do its job, and it'll fill in those bare spots over time, as long as your soil is healthy. And that goes back to kind of watching some of my other videos about making sure your micronutrients are right, making sure your NPK is right, and again, following me each and every week as I post new lawn care videos. Make sure, if you haven't already subscribed, that you hit that subscribe button, and then turn on that notification bell, because what that'll do is when I do release my video each week, it's going to send you a notification that, hey, the new video is out, and you'll be able to get on there. And everything that my channel is designed to help you have a beautiful lawn, and these are lawn tips that anybody can use, whether you're a beginner or whether you're a seasoned veteran. And so hopefully you found this video useful, and we will see you next week. This is Real Low Bermuda signing out.